Hi, I'm Jim from M&M Tools and Machinery. We're here with Brad again at his shop. We're talking right now about the 719A Powermatic Mortiser. Now I believe there's a newer model out right now. Brad bought this from us used, so we thought this would be a really good review because this has been used before him and by Brad. And Brad's had this, again, 2 or 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And Brad, I don't know if you can see this. This is a 1-inch bit, which is the max for this. And this is what Brad uses, is this 1-inch bit. So he is a good resource for us as far as knowing how it really functions. Absolutely. Take us away, Brad.
Yeah, like Jim said, I bought this used. I think I came into you and I said, I need a mortiser and I need it today.
Yep.
And we use this mortiser for our old wheelchair ramps. We used to mortise all of our handrail posts with this. This used to run all the time, all day long. And it doesn't run as much now. We do some furniture things with it. We still do some ramp kitting with it, but not as much as we used to.
Right.
Yeah, I got it back. I got it into the shop. I used it, and it was the biggest time saver I'd ever bought in my life. It's fantastic. Of course, Powermatic. Can't say anything bad about it. Very robust. The adjustments on it are fantastic. When you throw in the wood, you just adjust it through, tighten it up. You do want to get it pretty tight.
Especially with a 1-inch bit.
Yeah, you do want to get it pretty tight. The adjustments on the bottom are Y and X axis. So if you turn this way, it will go front and back so you can hit your line. And this way turns it left and right. So once you get it where you want it, you just bring down the bit, clear it out, and then it does have a self-adjustment stop in the back. Pull it out, and that's a 2-inch deep 1x1 mortise. Very easy, simple. It does matter what kind of bits you use. I will say that. If you buy cheap bits, you're gonna get cheap results. So spend the money on the bits.
What this one run me, Brad? I remember these suckers are
that
pricey.
bit right there was $300, but if you're using it over and over again, Powermatic does sell their premium chisel bits. They are great.
Very good.
And I think the whole kit. Now this was a custom made 1-inch that we had made. I forget who made it.
I can't remember anymore.
But it was a custom made 1-inch. The Powermatic brand ones that are the 1/2-inch, 5/8, all of that. I have the whole kit. They're fantastic. I totally recommend them.
Very good.
But beyond that, it is a workhorse. Big motor.
Okay.
Never had a problem with the motor. The adjustments are very easy once you hit your marks. The table base is great. One thing about this that is so underestimated that people don't realize is this base tilts. So if you're doing handrails, if you're doing furnitures, if you're doing things like that, and I don't have the adjustment with me right now, this whole table will come up and it will allow it to tilt. And the adjustments you can see are right down here. It'll go to 35 degrees. So you can set your material on it, bring your arm down, and mortise right through. The only negative I've had with this is I had a cheap 1-inch bit when I first bought this machine. I put a piece of redwood 4x4 post in it, and I pulled down on the hammer, and I was mortising, and I snapped the gears or the gearing pin off in the middle. I had to bring it into M&M. I brought it in the same day. Monty had it fixed in a day, and I had it back the next day. The service program down at M&M is fantastic. And they came in, it was a tiny little pin too. It wasn't even that big, but it is important that you don't force it through. The good bits, you don't have to. And if you set them up right on the gearing, follow the instructions on your chuck outs to the mortiser and the drill bit, you won't have a problem.
The other thing that Brad just did, but while we weren't on camera, is he actually lubed the bit up with just a little bit of lube there.
Just a little bit of slick wax. If you just, when you turn the machine on, if you just turn it on, throw a little bit up in there, it will keep that drill bit from spinning up against the mortiser, the actual chisel, and it will keep your life on your bit a lot longer. So.
Very good. Parting thoughts, Brad?
Parting thoughts is, again, you can't go bad with Powermatic. This is a very robust unit. This is not a tabletop unit. This is for all day in the shop, running materials, running mortises, go, go, go. It is a small footprint for what you get, and it's invaluable if you're going to do mortising. It's invaluable. You cannot do it any quicker than this machine. And a funny parting story is it's really quiet. If you can hear, you can almost not hear it. I started this and was using this on a Friday afternoon, and all day I used it, and I left it on all weekend and came in on Monday morning, and I heard this hum in my shop, and I come over, and this motor had ran for 96 hours straight. Nice. And it was cool as can be. I shut it off, it started right up again. So if you want a running test, it ran for about 96 hours, and it was perfectly fine.
Very good.
Don't do that, by the way.
Yeah,
but
overall.
Yeah.
The other thing, everybody note the length of the handle here. That's so you can get a little more torque on it when you need to pull. Just what Brad said, you shouldn't have to pull so hard that you got your whole body weight on there.
No.
And then you have a little bit of storage down here in the base. So, and then what Brad pointed out, you got your
Depth
stop
stop.
right
Yep.
back there.
Very, very good. The back of mortisers are very important. The robustness of the back is, on cheaper mortise machines, you will see that this is skinny. This solid cast iron piece back here gives it the strength for it to torque,
right,
to get through the material, because this is the strongest and weakest point. So make sure when you're looking at other tools and other mortises, this column back here is the base. And I have, to be honest, I've flexed it a couple times, really pushing them through some hard wood, probably taking it past where I should have, but I've never had a problem with it. So make sure that when you're looking at comparison tools, to make sure that the tower back here is very, very solid and robust.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Brad.
Hey, you're welcome.